South Africa's first choice for news. This is eNCA.
From Johannesburg, this is Tonight with Jane Dutton. On our debut program, eNCA's live 90-minute interview with President Cyril Ramaphosa. It's been 5 months since he came to power. A new research released today shows national support for the party is up. But more than half of ANC supporters are uncertain about the party's leadership. At home, the president is dealing with big issues: the economy, rising food and petrol prices, uncertainty about Eskom, and public health concerns about water. The battle against corruption has not been won. The land debate rages on, and overseas, investors have big questions about the country's direction. Tonight, eNCA's signature team of anchors and reporters are standing by to give South Africans their chance to talk directly to the president. Mr. President Cyril Ramaphosa, very good to have you with us on our first Tonight with Jane Dutton. Obviously, we've got a lot to get through in 90 minutes. I hope it's going to be as exciting as an Anderson match and not as long. We're going to start off with a survey that we've been focusing on throughout the day. It's a reflection of your presidency, what's happening within the ANC, and it's got good news and bad news, as you know. I'm going to go over to my colleague, John. Ram's going to tell us more about what's happening there.
Jane, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, it seems you have something to celebrate according to the Ipsos poll. Over 3,700 people were actually spoken to for this poll over a 6-month period, and here are the results. If you look at it nationally, 60% of those polled say that they do actually support the ANC, and they're going to support the ANC in the upcoming election. 13% the DA, and the EFF 7%. Provincially, this is what we find quite interesting here. 58% in Gauteng, the Western Cape 26%, of course a stronghold for the Democratic Alliance, and then KwaZulu-Natal 62%. The interesting part of this, though, Jane and Mr. President, is that in KwaZulu-Natal, 16% of those questioned about who they're going to vote for said they refuse to answer that question. Now, some people would say that they're holding out for Jacob Zuma possibly starting up his own political party. We'll have to wait and see exactly whether or not they're going to change that at all. The Trust Index, here's good news for the president. In November 2017, under Jacob Zuma's rule, 11. In June 2018, under your rule, Mr. President, 36. So that's a big jump. And we end off with this. People have been asked this specific question: the future of the ANC uncertain because of the leadership issues within the party. Now, 54% of South African voters polled say they strongly agree with that. So it seems you have something to worry about there, Mr. President. And get this, 52% of ANC supporters are saying that they agree with this statement, that there are leadership issues within the ANC. So that's something the party is going to have to look at quite closely. Jane?
Thank you very much for that, Shahan Ramkissoon. Let's talk about the revival, the good news first. What happened there? Why is it up?
Well, I think South Africans are indicating their level of confidence and trust in the African National Congress. They are rekindling their love affair with the ANC, and we see this in the figures. And for us as the ANC, this is very humbling. It is confidence building as well. And it also shows that the ANC is still seen by the majority of South Africans as the leader of society.
Where does the rekindling come from, do you think?
Well, I guess the rekindling comes from a sense that many South Africans had in the past few years and leading up to the few months that we led up to before December, where people had a sense of despondency, they had lost confidence, and a number of people felt that the country was not going in the right direction, and they also felt that their trusted movement had deviated and was deviating from the values that they had always believed that it subscribed to. And a combination of all that led to people feeling quite despondent and distancing themselves from the ANC.
I mean, you've had, sorry, excuse me, jumping in there, Koza, somebody very despondent with the party, Julius Malema, people leaving because they didn't believe in the party anymore. What sort of impact has that sort of brain drain had on the party?
Well, the people who left the party and some people left in hordes. And obviously, that does have a negative impact and it does weaken the party. And that is why our conference in December said and resolved that we should now go on a unity drive. We should renew the ANC and unite the organization and mesh the different approaches and perspectives into one solid, united African National Congress. And that is what is driving me, and that is what is driving the rest of the leadership. Leading up to December, yes, we were desperate forces, divided amongst the leaders that we supported, but now that a leadership has been chosen, we are now coalescing. The ANC is finding its way to unity. It's not an easy process. Unity is a process, and you have to do a number of things to unite people who had different views and different perspectives.
Okay, we'll talk about that more. I mean, you are helped by the DA's self-harming, the EFF. I mean, it's still there 5 years on. But looking at those figures a little earlier on and the undecided voters, how much of a concern are they, the Zuma supporters? What sort of camp is building there?
Well, I wouldn't call that a camp. I mean, after every election in any party, you do find that those who supported a particular leader will still want to gravitate towards that leader. And the task that lies ahead for a responsible leadership is to try to bring everyone into the crawl. And in the ANC, we always say that once a leadership is chosen, everybody should rally around that leadership. Now, at times, it does take a little longer than what we would have expected, and sometimes it happens instantly. And this time around, we're building unity, brick by brick, mortar by mortar, and it is going to be unified.
All right, you talk about leadership, and I want you to listen to something. Political analyst Aubrey Mashikri has expressed some strong views about your leadership. Let's just listen in.
Cyril Ramaphosa will not be able to lead without the consent of his opponents. Now, I call him indecisive. Some have decided that he's playing the long game. I still maintain that in the end, he may prove to be one of the weakest presidents the ANC has ever had.
That must hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt because, I mean, these are analysts and I don't want to be unkind to them, but they are sitting on a chair and they are not in the scrum, they are not involved in the organization, and they are not involved in the haji-bajing in the organization to build unity. Our task is to build unity.
Okay, so edify
us. I'm not harmed or hurt by their comments. I see that, I read that, and I note that. My task as the president of the ANC, which I was given by conference, by the way, even as I closed conference, I said, you as delegates gathered here, you have chosen a leadership that has different perspectives. A leadership that, leading to the conference, thought they would never work together. But you have put us all together, and you want us to work together, and everybody applauded. And I said, that's precisely what we are going to seek to do.
Okay.
So what
sorry, excuse me, jumping in here. I've heard you describe it as collective leadership. I mean, that clearly didn't work under Jacob Zuma. I heard you saying this weekend that you're not a weak leader, but you don't want to be a dictator either. Surely there's a middle ground there. You don't have to be one or the other.
No, I mean, clearly there is a middle ground. I mean, leadership is being able to give direction, but leadership is also being able to take those that you are leading along with you and being able to carol them and get them to move along And in the end, I mean, we've just been in this for 6 months. And 6 months, you know, does not make a summer. 6 months is still a period that we're still finding one another. Even in Luthuli House, we're still finding one another. We're still finding how each one of us works. The style is being, you know, measured, and we're forging unity. And the important part for us is that we are forging unity. And those who are outside, some of them are doomsayers, would want us to break the eggs, to make, you know, dramatic decisions that will lead to people hiving off, and because some people would like to see a divided ANC. And our mission is not to have a divided ANC, it's to have a united ANC.
Do you think it might help, though, getting rid of some of the players within ANC who are bringing disrepute to the party? And if I can just bring up this tweet by Robert James Hickson. He said, it's a question for President Cyril Ramaphosa. When Deputy President Zuma was accused of corruption in 2005, President Thabo Mbeki removed him. Deputy President David Mabuza is accused of involvement in numerous corruption scandals. Why haven't you removed him? And we can talk about Batabili Dlamini, Malusi Gigaba, and Muduzini Manana. Why are they still there?
You know, we have, as leaders, we have to work on evidence. Evidence, and not work on rumors or suppositions. And we've got to work on facts. When the facts are there, when the evidence is there, and clearly we will take action. But if there are no facts, there are just rumors, then you may just as well dismiss everyone in the ANC. And I'm not going to be working on rumors and facts, because that in the end could prove to be untrue. So if people have facts and real evidence, bring it forward, and then we will be able to deal with that. And in any organization, that is what you want to deal with.
Okay, we're going to leave the studio now. We're going to go over to my colleague, Tulisizwe Simelane. Now, he's one of the anchors of our new rolling news program, eNCA now. He's at the Union Buildings. If we could just look at Tulas over there, he's got a question for you.
Yeah, absolutely, Jane. We are at the Union Buildings, the seat of the executive in South Africa, the seat that President Ramaphosa came to occupy in February amid much political contestation inside his party and negotiation. I'm with Prince Mashele, who is a political commentator and activist. He's got a question for President Ramaphosa. Prince, fire away.
Mr. President, internal stability in your party, the ANC, is very important. You promised unity in the ANC when you were elected. Since you were elected, that unity has never been seen. The ANC is unstable. Why must South Africans believe that you are going to run a stable government with an ANC that is in tatters?
All right, that is the question from Prince Mashele to the President. Jane?
How would you answer that, Mr. President?
Tatana Mashele Nakensa Shinene. Now, the question of unity is not a one-day event, as I said. It's a process, and it is precisely that we are working on. And people will be surprised in the end when they see how the ANC leadership and membership find one another and unite. As it is now, we're busy holding conferences throughout the country, and those conferences are being underpinned by a spirit of unity and renewal, and they are also forging the unity through making sure that the leadership that is chosen is a leadership that mixes people with different perspectives. Because it is when you have people with different perspectives that you are able, through that diversity of leadership that you are able to have the best decisions, you are able to have the wealth of experience, the wealth of expertise, and the wealth of the history of the organization. So I am confident underlined, that the ANC is going to forge unity. We will go into the next elections as a united force, and people will be amazed. Watch this space.
is it all about the election? I mean, you need a unified ANC to remain in power.
Yes, we need a unified ANC, not so much also to remain in power, but also to function as an organization. An organization functions best when it is united, when it has a united leadership, when it has a united membership, and when it is able to execute its programs in a united fashion. And that is precisely the mandate that we were given. And I, as president of the ANC, intend to forge unity in the organization and to bring back those who may be charting a different path, to bring them in, and where there are fissures and where there are divisions, to try and close those and get comrades to work together and find one another. And where it is happening in a number of provinces in our country, people are actually breathing in a great deal of fresh air. They say, wow, this is good. We're able to work with people that we thought we would never work with. And even us in the top 6, we are working with people that we thought we would never work with.
So that is working together, isn't it?
That's unity in action.
That's unity in action. Still to come on the special debut edition of Tonight with Jane Dutton. More questions for President Ramaphosa. We'll be live in Vrede next.